So what is Tempe Accelerates?
This is a wonderful opportunity to give the presenters and the various areas that are presenting your comments. That's really what this is all about. This is a constructive process to help all the different areas of the city come together and help us all achieve our goals.
Tempe Accelerates is a way to present our overarching goals and achievements to make Tempe a better place.
We will be discussing the cardiac arrest survival rates and our council priority of being safe and secure.
These measurable goals operationalize the 5 council priorities for our cities, such as safe and secure communities, quality of life, sustainable growth and development, financial stability and vitality, and strong community connections.
So our performance measure is number 4.11 to achieve a tree canopy of 25 trees per acre on our as an average on our city properties.
This is an opportunity for the community and Tempe employees to participate by offering ideas and solutions, as well as asking questions about how to reach our targets.
I'm going to talk about 2 performance measures that focus on energy. The first one is energy reduction. So this is a dashboard showing the Kiwanis Recreation Center after the solar carports were installed, and the pink area shows you all the energy consumption at the Kiwanis Rec Center, and the green bars show the solar panels, the solar energy production.
The sessions consist of presentations from different departments and partners that show the goal's current measure as well as our target for the future. The departments also discuss the efforts and strategies we are making in order to achieve our desired performance.
And so we have a very visionary goal, and that is to reduce fatal and serious injury crashes to 0.
So we're here to talk about feeling of safety in parks, and the specific council priority that looks at or is under is safe and secure communities.
Join us for Tempe Accelerates, a series of data-driven collaborative strategy sessions to explore how these goals help the community and what we can do to reach our targets.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Tempe Accelerates for Thursday, March 4th, 2021. Glad to have you here. I know our presenting teams are eager to present today. We're going to have 2 presentations on Performance Measure 3.06, Quality Pre-K Enrollment, and 3.07, Third Grade Reading Level Proficiency. The presentations will be both roughly 10 minutes each. You can ask any questions you may have in the question and answer feature of the Teams application, and we will have the presenters respond after the presentation. You can find that feature in the upper right-hand corner of your screen. If you're asking about a specific slide in the presentation, please give us that slide number so we can show it during the response. There will be a feedback survey available on our website. We will provide the link in the Q&A, and we would appreciate you filling out that feedback, as would our teams. In addition, we will provide links to our performance measures dashboard so you can explore others that you might be interested in that doubtless will be the subject of future Tempe Accelerates in future meetings. There may also be some time delays or technical challenges as we go through the presentations. So we appreciate in advance your patience as we work through those. So without further ado, I will now ask the first presenting team to show us their work on Performance Measure 3.06.
Good afternoon. My name is Marie Raymond. I'm a Human Services Manager, and I oversee the Education, Family, and Community Support section.
Good afternoon. My name is Leslie Totten, and I'm the supervisor of the Tempe Pre program. Let's get started.
Thank you for joining us today to discuss access to quality early learning in Tempe. Next slide. Our performance measure aligns with City Council strategic priority number 3, which is quality of life. Our measure 3.06 is to achieve quality early learning for Tempe children across all demographic categories, as measured by 45% of 3 and 4-year-old children enrolled in quality early learning settings by the year 2030. Next slide. Research shows us that attendance at high-quality preschool programs results in higher academic achievement, fewer behavioral issues, an increase in high school graduation rates, and a cost savings to governments. The City of Tempe supports Tempe's children 0 to 5 years and their parents in achieving school readiness through its Kids Zone preschool program, the Escalante preschool program, through library classes and events, and through Read on Tempe, which you'll hear about a little bit later today. In addition, in 2017, the city developed the Tempe Pre program. Tempe Pre expands access to high-quality, full-day, year-round preschool to Tempe children and families, while also providing partial and full tuition assistance to income-qualifying families. Next slide. So our target is that 45% of 3 and 4-year-old children in Tempe will be enrolled in quality early learning settings by the year 2030. And we got to that goal by aligning with the Expect More Arizona Progress Meter, which set a statewide goal at 45%. Next slide.
Hi, this is Leslie Totten, the Tempe Pre-Supervisor, and now we're going to talk about where we're at now and how we collected our data. You'll see that we've been collecting data since 2016 up to this past year in 2020. Since our performance measures focused on 3 and 4-year-olds, we used the most current census data from the 2010 census to identify the number of preschool-aged children in Tempe. We anticipate seeing a shift in this number after we see the data that comes back from the most recent 2020 census. To measure the enrollment in quality pre-K, we identified the programs in Tempe that were high quality or quality. And this is determined through the statewide quality measure, which is called Quality First, and they have star ratings, as well as programs that are nationally accredited or Head Start, and those are considered high quality programs. We found 25 quality pre-K programs in the Tempe area, and that includes all 11 of the Tempe pre-classrooms. The other city-funded preschools that Marie had mentioned that are included in here would be Escalante and the Getz Kids Zone preschool. We then totaled the enrollment of these programs and found that the percentage of children, we have found the percentage of children that are enrolled in quality pre-K. So what you'll see is that the number of quality programs has increased and the number of children enrolled in these programs has also increased. So we feel like this could be due to either more programs are enrolling in the statewide quality initiative and making improvements over time. And we believe that as programs improve in quality, they can provide greater access to families, which is what these enrollment numbers might be showing. And although we're thrilled to see that the percentage of quality pre-K enrollment has increased, this also means that there's still 51% of pre-K children in Tempe that are not accessing quality early education. Now, this data does not take into account that we know there's been a number of programs that have closed due to the pandemic or enrollment shifts from the economic challenges our families are currently facing. Next slide. So why does this matter? Why is quality even important in preschool environments? Education obviously has advanced over time, and research tells us that 90% of a child's brain development happens before they even turn 5 years old and enter kindergarten. In previous years, programs were unable to provide quality due to lack of staff training or education. There were low standards and there were really crowded classrooms. Today, our preschool programs are better equipped to support the developmental needs of our children as well as their families. Quality early learning environments not only support children's learning and their development, but access to quality care helps families find reliable caregiving arrangements so they're able to find or maintain employment or educational opportunities, which supports our community. Next slide. Data that we've collected in our Tempe pre-program shows important information about the impact on families when they have access to quality early learning environment. We're just looking at the data from our Tempe pre-program because there's currently no access to financial data among private or community-based preschools. So looking at this, we find that Tempe pre is serving a high number of families that are at or below 200% of the federal poverty level, where they're receiving financial assistance. And then they also receive some financial assistance if they are at 300% or below of the federal poverty level. So what you'll see, as I said, is the majority of the families we serve in Tempe pre make less than $52,400 per year, and that's for a family of 4. These families are often considered the working poor because they make too much for government assistance, but they don't make enough to cover the cost of quality pre-K enrollment. Next slide. We also have found that Tempe pre families that we serve represent a very diverse demographic, which we believe helps support integrated classrooms and an equitable offering of education for our youngest learners. Again, this data is only from our Tempe pre program, as there is no access to data regarding equity among private or community-based preschools. Next slide. This is Aurora. So we want to use her just as an example of our access to quality pre-K. Aurora's mom, Kayla, had just recently moved to the Tempe area, and she was struggling to find a quality pre-K environment that would support her daughter. She was stuck between putting her in a childcare setting that was little more than babysitting, or that she would have to find assistance to help Aurora continue learning as she was getting ready for kindergarten. Aurora's mom couldn't leave her job, and she really had few options to find quality enrollment for Aurora. Through Tempe Pre, Aurora now has equitable access to quality pre-K enrollment, and her mom, Kayla, is able to continue in her job knowing her daughter is getting the essential care and education that she needs to be ready for kindergarten. Next slide.
So as we work towards increasing access to quality preschool in Tempe, we noted some current strategies, and one is our Tempe preschool program. Another strategy that we have is supporting parents through our positive parenting program called Triple P. We also have a collaboration with Maricopa County Head Start, and we have 20 children who are funded through Head Start that are integrated within our Tempe pre classrooms. We also have a very robust collaboration with the Tempe Elementary School District, who supports all of our Tempe pre classrooms on their campuses, as well as our Kid Zone program. In development is our Care for Me platform. And when this platform is fully developed, it will provide families with information on how to access childcare in Tempe that meets their needs, as well as connections to financial assistance if they qualify. We're also positioning our Tempe pre program to accept childcare subsidies administered by the Department of Economic Security. We're collaborating with the National League of Cities, and we're part of the Arizona Pre-K Alignment Team, which is looking at expanding access statewide. We work with other community and private preschool providers to support networking and professional development opportunities to promote quality across our city. In the future, we're looking at a potential ballot initiative that could support access to high quality preschool either at the city or state level. And we will work towards aligning all of our city preschool education offerings. Next slide. So there are some challenges in achieving our goal. And the first is that we lack a consistent and sustainable funding mechanism. The next one is that, unfortunately, 30% of preschool environments have had to close due to economic challenges and the pandemic, reducing access overall within the city. Also, the high cost of quality preschool often makes it unattainable for families. There are staffing shortages due to a decline in qualified staff. And our children are exhibiting emotional and behavioral challenges caused by increased family stressors, and this creates obstacles to maintaining quality in the classrooms. And finally, as you heard, we still have 51% of 3 and 4-year-olds in Tempe unable to access high quality preschool opportunities. And so we see that the need for quality preschool is greater than the capacity. Next slide. And so at this point, we'd love to hear your ideas that you might have to accelerate our performance measure.
Thank you, Marie and Leslie. I'm Wydell Holmes with the City of Tempe Strategic Management and Diversity Office. And I would like to just remind everybody that we do welcome your questions and comments in the Q&A feature of the Teams app. You can find that in the upper right-hand corner of your screen. And if you're asking about a specific slide in the presentation, please feel free to include that so we can address that and show that to the audience while we have Marie and Leslie share more about their performance measure. If we have questions that are similar, I'll try to combine them, but if we have some really diverse questions as well, I'll try to be as open to all of those as we can during our time. So we do have some time here for some questions, so I'm waiting to see if there's anything in the queue. But I will first start with one question is to Marie and Leslie. How does a preschool qualify as high quality? Because in your presentation, it's not just about enrollment, it's about enrollment in high quality early learning settings.
Hi, Wydell, this is Leslie, and I can answer that question. It's a lot of people wonder what quality looks like in early childhood. And the state has established a quality initiative called Quality First, and programs can participate in Quality First and they receive a star rating. And that rating looks at the environment the children are engaged in, the interactions with the children and the teachers, as well as the administrative practices and staff qualifications. So all of those components are based on national standards and provide a program a rating of quality or high quality. We also recognize Head Start programs as high quality programs or those that have a national accreditation in the early childhood field. So those are the components we look at when we determine if a program is quality or high quality.
Thank you, Leslie. For programs that are striving to be high quality, or is that an area of assistance that your team can provide?
We can definitely offer support about where to find the standards that would designate quality, how they can become more engaged in the statewide initiative, or how we can work better to partner with those programs to offer professional development opportunities or to help them find sources where they can find professional development. So yes, it's definitely something we would be happy to work with another community program on.
Great, thank you. Another question is, what are, if any, are there cultural challenges in encouraging families to enroll their children in quality preschool?
Yeah, one of the things we noted in the presentation is that we, in the Tempe pre-program, have really seen a benefit of having a very diverse demographic in our classrooms as well as in our teaching staff. Oftentimes families have struggles finding quality access to quality care. So as Marie had noted, we are looking at initiating a program called Care for Me, where families that may not know about quality preschool enrollments can go online through this web-based system to find access to quality care and overcome maybe some of those cultural barriers. Our hope is that all programs across the city will be represented in that web-based platform so that families can either go online to find services for quality care, or they can contact us in the city to find more information about that. It's quality care should be accessible to all families across all demographics, and our hope is that we can continue to expand our preschool services to make that a reality.
Okay. So this relates to a question that came in from one of our audience today, and we call them also our participants in this discussion. Can you explain more, before the Care for Me app and web-based platform is available, how are parents made aware of the quality programs that are currently offered?
There are a number of ways that families can find quality care in the Tempe area or across the state, and that would be through the Child Care Resource and Referral Program. That is a statewide system that provides information to families who are looking for different types of childcare settings. It could be in a public setting, it could be in a private setting, it could be in a home-based setting, or it could be in a part day or full day. So Child Care Resource and Referral is something that is funded through the Arizona Department of Economic Security, and it is an open platform that families can find more information. They can also go to the statewide web system, which is qualityfirstaz.com, and quality programs are represented on that site as well, and that's a statewide system. Or they could contact our office and we could help them find what they're looking for.
What's the best way to contact the Tempe office?
Either at the email address here on the slide, Leslie_Totten@tempe.gov, or Tempe Pre. I believe it's a pre-K. Oh, I'm going to get the information ready. If you send the information to my email, then we can direct them to the right place.
Okay, so we'll provide Leslie's email in the chat. Again, it's Leslie_Totten@tempe.gov. And before we wrap up, we have one more question, and maybe this one's for Marie. Can you discuss the economic success that families have found for those that are enrolled in Tempe Pre, and how that relates to our economic success as a city?
Sure, I'd be happy to. So in the first 2 years of the Tempe Pre program, we provide no-cost access for all of our participants in the program. And when we surveyed our families, we found that 40% realized a 28% increase in income. And this was as a result of being able to access full day, year-round, high-quality preschool at no cost, which allowed many of our families to either go back to work if they had not been working, or to re-enter the workforce, or they were able to increase their work hours as a result of having access to quality care for their children. So, so great economic impacts overall as a result of having this program.
Great. Well, thank you both. We really enjoy our presentations from Human Services and Tempe Pre. Thank you, Marie and Leslie, and I'll turn it back over to our City Manager, Andrew Ching.
Thank you, Wydell, and thank you to both Marie and Leslie for that excellent presentation. We now have our second presentation of the day regarding Performance Measure 3.07, third grade reading level proficiency. Presenting today will be Nicole Berner, Julie Fellows, Karen McNally, and Ann Lynn DiDomenico. Take it away.
Hello, good afternoon. My name is Nicole Berner, and I'm a senior social services coordinator, working with Experience Corps.
Good afternoon. My name is Julie Fellows. I'm a site specialist working with Experience Corps.
Hi, I'm Karen McNally, data specialist with Experience Corps.
Hello, I'm Ann Lynn DiDomenico, Human Services Supervisor, and we will be talking to you about the third grade reading level proficiency performance measure today. So let's get started. Next slide. So the goal of this performance measure is to have 72% of Tempe children reading proficiently by the end of third grade. The 72% is the benchmark that was established by Expect More Arizona as a statewide goal. Next slide, please. So where is the city of Tempe at right now on this performance measure? Our goal is that 72% of third graders will score in the proficient or highly proficient range on the English language arts portion of the AZ Merit exam by 2030. The most recent passing rate of third graders in Tempe elementary schools and Kyrene elementary schools located within Tempe is 45%. It is important to note that this number does not include charter schools or private schools. The levels of proficient and highly proficient are combined to determine the passing rate. The current passing rate for third graders in the state of Arizona is 46%. Please note that due to the COVID-19 pandemic, the AZ Merit exam was not given in the spring of 2020, and so the 45% listed is from the 2019 exam. Next slide, please. So why does this measure matter? Reading proficiently by the end of third grade can be a make or break benchmark in a child's educational development. Children need to spend their early years learning the building blocks of literacy and then putting these skills together to learn to read. These building blocks start at birth. They include simple activities such as a parent reading to their child and a child holding a book and turning the pages. Children begin to learn the print has meaning. They become curious about language and excited about books. While they are young, children should be exposed to many and varied words, and they benefit from literacy-rich environments. By fourth grade, children transition from learning to read to reading to learn. Children need to be proficient readers to gain the information they need in math and science and to problem solve and think critically about the content of what they are reading. Up to half of the printed fourth grade curriculum is incomprehensible to students who read below that grade level, and poverty has a tremendous impact on reading achievement. Children must be reading proficiently by the end of third grade to be successful in school. Next slide, please. This slide looks at poverty and reading achievement in Tempe. As you can see, the higher the percentage of children under 5 living in poverty, the lower the scores on the English language arts section of the AZ Merit at third grade. One challenge to reaching our goal is the impact of poverty on literacy and reading. Various studies have shown that by the age of 3, children from lower income homes can often have almost half as many words in their vocabulary as children from high income homes. Too many children from low-income homes lack the quality interactions that foster language development, including verbal interactions with parents, being read to, and access to books in the home. Vocabulary development by age 3 has been found to predict reading achievement by third grade. Next slide, please. Having books in the home is one of the best predictors of later reading success. Low achievement in reading has important long-term consequences. Students who are reading proficiently at the end of third grade are 4 times more likely to graduate from high school and 3 times more likely to enroll in college. Academic success is defined by high school graduation. The world's economy is demanding a more educated workforce, and third grade reading proficiency is one of the keys. Next slide, please. Read on Tempe is focused on all of the children in Tempe reading proficiently by the end of third grade. This collaborative effort is an example of our community coming together for the sole purpose of helping our children become proficient readers. Next slide, please. Tempe is one of 6 read-on communities from the state of Arizona who were selected to participate in the Acceleration Zone project. This 36-month project seeks to build the capacity of change makers who are interested in leading the charge for effective, equitable, and accelerated early literacy results in their community. The Tempe Acceleration Zone project is focused on the Thu Escalante community. The goal of the project is to provide families with children ages 0 to 6 living in this area with strategies, programs, and services for increasing early literacy skills in preparation for successful entrance into kindergarten and future learning. This slide illustrates the upward trend made on 3rd grade English language arts scores in the Thu Escalante community over the last 3 years. Next slide, please. Early literacy outcomes are driven by learning that happens at home and in community settings as well as in the classroom. Read on Tempe is focused on early literacy with the outcome of 3rd grade reading proficiency. The 3 main strategies to advance literacy and achievement in Tempe are growing home libraries, engaging families and community, and to develop reading skills to reach proficiency on the AZ Merit Exam. Each of these strategies is supported by a variety of programs and services. A few of these are listed on this slide. Next slide, please. One of those strategies is Helping Us Grow, or HUG. The 2 primary goals of the HUG program are, first, to raise awareness for parents about their role in their child's education and to empower them in this role by providing them with useful strategies and information on being their child's partner in education. And the second goal is to support this effort by getting books into the hands of children to start or build their own home library. In this past year, this program distributed over 1,000 books to 106 children in the Thu Escalante community. The 2 children in this picture are recipients of books from the HUG program. Next slide, please. Tempe was fortunate to receive a significant portion of books from the Molina Foundation book grant through Read on Arizona. All 6 Acceleration Zone communities received new books from this grant. Books were for ages birth through adult. The City of Tempe received approximately 16,000 books, which went to all 3 of our school districts, as well as the Tempe Public Library, various human services programs, and our community partner and agencies. Here is what Natalie Barella from the Tempe Police Department had to say about receiving some of these books. Approximately 100 books were distributed to children during our 2020 Shop with Your Cops event. The remainder of the books are housed at our Hardy Station, where officers, detectives, and staff can utilize them while on calls for service or community outreach efforts. As children and families remain isolated, these books will allow our officers to create dialogue, connect in meaningful ways, and promote literacy. Thank you. In these pictures, you can see the books in the warehouse prior to distribution, a Tempe pre-classroom holding up their new books, and a young reader selecting a book during Shop with Your Cops. I'll now turn the presentation over to Nicole Berner with Experience Corps.
Thank you, Enlyn. Next slide, please. Okay, wonderful. On February 26th, families enrolled in Escalante Preschool, Tempe Pre, and Experience Corps were invited to an outdoor, socially distanced parent engagement read-along activity to celebrate Black History Month, as pictured here on the screen. Prominent African-American leaders in our community, like Mayor Corey Woods and Police Chief Jeff Glover, read books out loud as the children read along in their gifted copies of these book titles. The children brought 5 books home after the activity to grow their home libraries. It truly was a fun and special day of reading and learning. Next slide, please. AARP Foundation Experience Corps. Our mission. As previously mentioned, Experience Corps is one of the strategies to help attain this performance measure of 3rd grade reading level proficiency, as our mission aligns perfectly with it. Our mission is to engage highly trained adults, 50 and older, who help children attain literacy proficiency by the end of 3rd grade, so that children succeed and older adults thrive. We started here in Tempe in 2006 and became part of AARP in 2011. We are a City of Tempe program and have a long-standing and strong partnership with the Tempe Elementary School District. As you can see here in the photos, on the left-hand side, we have some tutors at Frank Elementary, and in the photo on the right, some tutoring happening at Holdeman Elementary while Principal Dr. Jeff Shores observes. Historically, and including the 2019-20 school year, Experience Corps had been in 12 Tempe Elementary District number 3 schools, 10 of which are Title I schools, including Thu Elementary, which is part of the acceleration zone Anlin spoke about. Next slide, please. Experience Corps' focus. What is our focus? As you can see on the right of your screen, accuracy and oral reading fluency are our focuses. We measure this via data from the school's language arts coaches. Accuracy and fluency are fundamental skills necessary for comprehension of text. Reading every word as it is written, also known as accuracy, and reading at a conversational pace, which is fluency, are critical for understanding what is being read. Our goal is to help kids who score just below their reading benchmark to meet or exceed these benchmarks through the repetition of reading games. And as you can see here in the photo, we've got a student at Scales Elementary playing a reading game with her tutor while Principal Andrew Lebowitz looks on. Next slide, please. And I'll pass it over to you, Julie Fellows from Experience Corps.
Thank you, Nicole. Experience Corps has faced some unique challenges due to the impact of COVID-19 on in-person instruction. Because Experience Corps tutoring is typically conducted in person, our program faced the challenges presented by a shift to virtual tutoring. Our first step was to find out what devices and internet access was available to our tutors. And then when the Tempe elementary schools moved to the Google Classroom platform, we worked with technology specialists and language arts coaches within the district to connect tutors and students for regularly scheduled tutoring sessions. Our tutors were then trained on topics ranging from initial device setup to virtual tutoring best practices and online safety protocols. Improvement in reading scores and progress toward grade level reading proficiency has also been impacted by frequent student absences from our tutoring sessions. Changes in a child's learning environment and limited internet access can mean that a child does not receive any kind of instruction consistently. If you look closely at the photos on this slide, you'll see this shift from in-person instruction in the top photo to successful virtual tutoring in the lower photo. We are happy to say that Experience Corps Tempe completed this transition in November 2020, and we currently tutor 80 children twice each week at Aguilar, Arredondo, and Ward. Next slide, please.
Hello. You didn't introduce me, Julie, so I'll introduce myself. I'm Karen, the data specialist with Experience Corps. Grade level benchmarks of accuracy and fluency are measures of risk. Those students at or above benchmark have a good chance, not a guarantee, but a good chance of succeeding in reading without extra intervention. Not every Experience Corps student will achieve benchmark, but several years of data show that students at all grade levels in the Experience Corps program improve at a faster rate than is expected for students who are at benchmark. As this graph shows, third graders at benchmark are expected to improve in accuracy from beginning of the year to the end of the year by 2%. On average, Experience Corps third graders improved by 4%, or double what is expected. Also, 60% of Experience Corps third graders reached benchmark in accuracy. Overall, on average, 66% of all Experience Corps students reached accuracy benchmark. Next slide, please. Third graders at benchmark are expected to improve in fluency from beginning of the year to the end of the year by 43%. Again, looking at several years of data, on average, Experience Corps third graders improved by 49%. Also, 49% of Experience Corps third graders reached benchmark in fluency. Overall, on average, 62% of all Experience Corps students reached fluency benchmark. Next slide, please. The impact of the Experience Corps program is represented by the following quote from a third grade teacher. I have a student who was not the strongest with her written comprehension. She had a great verbal comprehension. She had a tutor who was able to spark an interest in reading and get her to read on her own. The tutor was able to go through and work with her and show her books that she would take her own interest in and boost her confidence. She is now grade level in the 3rd grade with her reading skills, and she is able to confidently participate in all group activities. Next slide, please. And on a more personal level, and speaking to the impact of the relationships between tutors and students, this card was written at the end of the school year by a student to her tutor. Dear Mrs. Ruiz, I will miss you because you are the best tutoring teacher, and I will not forget you, and I will always think about you and never stop. I wish you were my grandma. I miss you already. I love you. Next slide, please.
All right. Well, thank you all, Anne, Julie, Nicole, and Karen. This was fabulous. We do have a few questions, and wanted to kind of circle back to the beginning is why was 72% selected as the target?
Hi, this is Ann Lynn. So 72% was the benchmark established by Expect More Arizona, and it became the also adopted by Read on Arizona and became the measurement for the state.
Thank you. Just a reminder, people can, our viewers can ask questions through our feature in the upper right-hand corner of Teams. But I do have another question for you, and I think the card said it at the very end, but how does somebody get involved in having their children participate in the program to not only benefit from reading, but having such a great relationship with a tutor that they would want her to be their grandma? What's the procedure for that?
Hi, this is Nicole Berner. Because the school's language arts coach selects students based on the child's reading scores, we'd advise any parent interested to contact his or her child's teacher to ask if the child would qualify for our program. They would be referred to us accordingly.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
You mentioned in the presentation 3rd grade. Why is that so critical? If you can remind us again, that you said something very clever about why 3rd grade, what happens at that stage?
Yes, children spend all the time up to 3rd grade and through their 3rd grade year, really developing their reading skills, learning to read. But when they move to 4th grade, they are expected to read to learn. And so children that are not proficient readers by the end of 3rd grade start to fall behind academically in the 4th grade because they do not have the comprehension skills needed to really deal with the curriculum that they have.
Thank you. And can one of you tell us a little bit about the relationship between parents reading and children reading?
Sure. You know, children really look to their parents for everything. Parents are modeling language, parents are modeling behavior, and parents are also modeling reading. And so when children see their parents sitting with a magazine or a book and, you know, not attuned to a screen or a television set, it lets that child know that reading and book and print are very important. And that just will help establish literacy in that home environment.
With all the great services and programs now, what happens though if the child doesn't reach the benchmark even with tutoring?
Thank you for the question. This is Nicole again. Depending on how low or high the child scores on testing, he or she might just need either another year of support from our tutors, or the child may require more intensive services from the school resource team. Again, this is a decision that is determined by the school's language arts coach.
Thank you. And you mentioned some challenges during COVID and ongoing, but what are some of those challenges that you experienced for the program, for the students, for the tutors outside of COVID?
Nicole, do you want to talk about that one? Like how that's impacting Experience Corps, or do you want me to talk about it more generally?
You can take that one. Thank you.
Okay. So, you know, there are so many challenges that need to be overcome. And, you know, we mentioned earlier in the presentation that poverty is a huge challenge that needs to be overcome. It really is incredible to think that 61% of children have like virtually no books in their homes to even pick up and turn the pages with. And so there is, outside of the pandemic, which has certainly added so many layers and so many challenges on, there are already existing tremendous challenges to achieving literacy proficiency.
Okay. It always seems that we need more volunteers. So how would somebody become an Experience Corps volunteer? How do they find out the details and the process for that?
Oh, that would be great. The contact information for our team is up here on the screen on this presentation, and any of us would be happy to share any information about our program or answer any questions. That would be myself, Nicole Berner, Julie Fellows, or Karen McNally. So please,
great.
Thank you.
Before I ask the final question, I do want to remind everybody that we'd love to get your feedback. We'd love to also know if you think of other strategies that would help us achieve any of our goals, especially the 2 goals presented today. You can find the link at tempe.gov/Tempe Accelerates. And one final question for our team here is, what are your plans for tutoring in the coming year?
I'll take that. This is Nicole again. We certainly hope to be tutoring in person next year. And if so, we plan to offer a hybrid of both in-person and virtual tutoring, since this year of online tutoring has proved to be very successful. Thank you.
Great. Well, thank you all. We really appreciate it. One other reminder is that if you'd like to see some of our other performance measures, strategies, and related data, that's at performance.tempe.gov. And with that, I will turn it back over to our city manager, Andrew Ching.
Thank you, Idell, and thank you to all the presenters we just heard from. I can tell you just from experience and from knowing about the great success of our Experience Corps volunteers that it's a nationally recognized program that we have here in Tempe, and they do just outstanding work, and I really appreciate the extra effort that has been made by Experience Corps and really by the whole team on this performance measure in light of the challenges of remote learning and COVID-19 during the pandemic. So kudos to everyone, and really just 2 fantastic presentations today. Thank you, everyone, for watching today. I really appreciate it. I know all the teams and everybody here at Strategic Management and Diversity really appreciate your participation. Again, if you have additional feedback, please go to the link that we provide to provide that to the teams. They are very much interested in hearing from you on ways and new strategies to continue to accelerate their performance measures. Join us for our next Tempe Accelerates on March 18th. That's 2 weeks from today at 2 p.m. We will be seeing presentations on performance measure 3.28, ending homelessness, and 3.20, dementia-friendly community designation. We would love to see you there. And as always, thank you to all the team that puts on this presentation. Thank you for moderating the questions today, Wydell, and thank you to Megan Hutchison for producing this program. And we will see you at the next Tempe Accelerates. Thanks so much.